Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo advocates unity in diversity in the country, insists Nigerians are better together than divided. Former military head of state General Abdulsalami Abubakar urges Nigerians to live together in peace if the country must achieve the desired development. Governorship tribunals uphold elections in Imo, Katsina and Nasarawa states. And Saudi authorities vowed to respond to attacks on oil facilities.
On Business News tonight, Senate to begin work at medium-term expenditure framework at the resumption of plenary next week.
And on sports news tonight, five-time world champions Brazil name a strong squad for next month's international friendly against the Super Eagles of Nigeria in Singapore.
Nigeria's unity, despite its diversity, is still on the front burner, as the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says that it remains important and more beneficial for Nigeria as a nation to remain together than divided. Professor Osinbajo believes that rather than promoting division, Nigerians should continue to promote unity and togetherness. According to him, great nations are those that stay together despite their diversity. He maintains that Nigeria still holds the key to Africa's development and remains a regional champion, and that the country's manifest destiny is to lead Africa and the world. He was speaking at an event in Osun State.
The quest of Nigerian history is that whereas many African nations had a single dominant political figure to lead them at independence, Nigeria had three remarkable men, and of course several others. Those were Ghana had Kwame Nkrumah, Algeria had Ahmed Ben Bella, Kenya had Jomo Kenyatta, and Senegal had Leopold Sedar Senghor. Nigeria had Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello, and Obafemi Awolowo. These three influential leaders came from diverse backgrounds. They possessed strong wills and naturally had diverse and conflicting views on what direction they believe this new nation should go. But interestingly, all three of them were in agreement on Nigeria's world historic significance. Everywhere in the world where people have succeeded, the rule is first merit and then quotas to make up. It is not first quotas and then merit. And so that's the third. The fourth is the significant lesson that we have learned from history is that we are better together than apart. In other words, promoting unity in diversity is in our best interest.
Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Apart from Nigeria's unity, ensuring that peace reigns supreme in the country is also a priority to some stakeholders, including the former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar. He is again asking everyone to remain peaceful and united in the country, which if we must achieve the desired development. He was speaking at the second General Abdulsalami Abubakar Foundation annual Peace Lecture to mark this year's International Peace Day. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
Nigeria has had its own share of conflict in recent times, with several lives lost and property destroyed. Although there have been efforts to combat the challenge through engagement of the military, the results are, however, not as desired, which is why some elder statesmen believe that dialogue remains the best solution. Here at the Justice Idris Legbo Kutigi International Conference Center, Mina, stakeholders have converged to discuss how best to promote peace in Nigeria, this time focusing on the role of eminent personalities in the prevention and management of conflict. Governor Abubakar Bello is the guest lecturer at the event, and his message centers on politicians whom he says are trying to derail from the country's democratic ideals.
Political candidates should strive to practice politics without bitterness by making frantic efforts to inform or persuade electorates rather than deceive them with enticing words. They should adopt simple expressions to communicate their political agenda without the use of force, violence, destructive tendencies, and unhealthy rivalry. As much as possible, they should avoid negative expressions that can promote conflict during political campaigns. We should avoid the use of ethnicity and religion to galvanize support and polarize the polity.
It's the turn of the former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, to give his remarks, and he wants Nigerians to take up the role of peace ambassadors.
A lot has been said about our role in making peace. I will not belabor the audience by going through your roles, my role, his role, our role in maintaining peace. I'm absolutely sure you heard it loud and clear from the guest lecturer. It is my prayer that peace reigns not only in Niger State, not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but indeed the world over.
Others at the event underscore the need for more dialogue and for persons in position of authority to provide effective leadership for the country. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the United Nations wants the federal government to urgently think of ways to mitigate the effects of climate change if its drive towards peace and development is to be achieved. The UN Resident Coordinator on Peace and Development in Nigeria, Dr. Zebulun Takwa, explains that the government must tackle this challenge headlong if the desired socio-economic developments are to be met. He was speaking at an event to mark the United Nations Day for Peace in Abuja.
Climate change is increasingly becoming a serious challenge to the nation's socio-economic development. Various manifestations of its impact are evident in drought and scarcity of food owing to irregular rainfall and flooding. The consequences usually range from hunger and ill health to migration and insecurity. As part of celebrations of this year's International Day for Peace, government officials, representatives of civil society organizations and development partners gather in this hall.
The world has come to realize that somebody without food on the table and not knowing when to get that food the next day is not at peace. And that is why the stream of the SDGs from number 1 to 16 all articulate the ingredients of that peace for it to be holistic.
But government representatives say they are doing all they can to mitigate the effects of climate change. The drive, according to them, will address the spate of insecurity in the country.
In Nigeria, there is no better time to reflect on the theme of this year's celebration of the International Peace Day than now. The negative consequences and effects of the climate change had greatly impacted on our social cohesion, with attendant consequences including farmers-herders conflict due to reduced grazing / farming lands, control of water resources, mass movement and migration due to desertification, conflicts, insurgents, land degradation, and low farm products or produce.
Every year, September the 21st is set aside by the United Nations to draw the attention of government to the need for peace. With the theme for the year 2019 focusing on climate action for peace, government at all levels must work towards addressing those effects of climate change that are responsible for conflict and insecurity among the people.
To judicial matters now, the Imo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has affirmed the election of Governor Emeka Ihedioha as the duly elected governor of Imo State. The tribunal dismissed the petition of Senator Hope Uzodimma of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Ifeanyi Ararume of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, and Mr. Uche Nwosu of the Action Alliance. In 3 judgments that lasted 10 hours, the tribunal dismissed the petition of Senator Ararume and Mr. Uche Nwosu for lacking in merit, while it dismissed the petition of Senator Uzodimma for failure to prove allegations of exclusion of results of the APC in the elections in 388 units in the state. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
Supporters of the 3 contestants in the February 2019 governorship election in Imo State and those of Governor Emeka Ihedioha waiting anxiously for the verdict of the Imo State Election Tribunal. The 3-man panel of the tribunal, led by Justice Malamido Gondaji, first dismissed the petition of the All Progressive Grand Alliance and its governorship candidate, Senator Ifeanyi Ararume, for lacking in merit. The next to be decided was that of Mr. Uche Nwosu of the Action Alliance. The tribunal held that he lacks the locus to file the petition since he was not the candidate of the party, according to a Supreme Court judgment that sacked him as the party's representative. And then the tribunal considered the petition of the All Progressive Congress and its governorship candidate, Senator Hope Uzodimma. In its unanimous judgment, the tribunal held that the petitioners did not prove the allegation of exclusion of results accrued to them in 388 units, skewing the final result in favor of Governor Emeka Ihedioha. The tribunal, which expunged most of the documents tendered and evidence of 13 out of the 23 witnesses presented by the petitioners, held that the petitioners were not entitled to the relief they sought since they did not prove that non-collation of their results in 388 units gave Mr. Ihedioha undue advantage. Those reliefs include a declaration that the election did not comply substantially with the Electoral Act, and as a result of it, it should be cancelled, or in the alternative, the tribunal declared the lawmaker as a duly elected governor of Imo State.
It is always the duty of INEC to defend any results that is as announced. And if you read the judgments delivered today in respect of the 3 petitions, you know that INEC did the proper thing in declaring Emeka Ihedioha as the duly elected governor of Imo State. All the authorities cited confirm that INEC did the right thing.
It's all about jubilation for the supporters of Governor Emeka Ihedioha, but all 3 petitioners still have the liberty to file an appeal within the next 14 days if they are not satisfied with the position of the tribunal. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, Governor Ihedioha has been reacting to the verdict of the tribunal which validates his election. The governor believes the judgment is the true reflection of the support he got from the people and victory for his party.
The verdict today at the tribunal is a vindication of the expectations of our people. It's a vindication of the fact that God understands the plights of the Imo people and has responded. I pray that God Almighty should touch the hearts of my brothers who were in contact with me. Now that the tribunal has given their judgment, we have opened up our hands to work with everyone so that we can rebuild our state, which has been deeply fractured, that requires a lot of support, infrastructurally and institutionally. This is the time that we all have to come together for the good of our people. It's obvious they did a wonderful work, painstakingly for about 8 hours, about 9 hours, delivering judgments. And from what I've seen, from the briefing I've gotten from my lawyers, justice was indeed done, and I'm certain that Nigerians would appreciate that stability has been restored again in our states.